Today, I want to speak to you about something so fundamental to living a full, healthy, and balanced life, yet it's often one of the hardest things to do. It's something that can feel challenging, uncomfortable, even unnatural at times. But let me assure you, embracing this concept can bring you closer to peace, and it can empower you to step into the life you've always wanted. What we're talking about today is the art of emotional detachment. Now, let's get one thing straight. Emotional detachment doesn't mean not caring. It doesn't mean closing yourself off from love, joy, or connection. It's not about building walls or numbing yourself to the world around you. Quite the opposite. Emotional detachment is about choosing to live with clarity, with purpose, and with intention. It's about knowing where your energy is going, understanding where your boundaries lie, and protecting your heart in a way that allows you to thrive rather than merely survive. Why is this important? Because life throws so much at us. We're constantly bombarded with the ups and downs of relationships, the challenges of careers, the expectations of society, and sometimes even the pressures we put on ourselves. And without realizing it, many of us get caught up in the emotional whirlwind of it all. We give too much of ourselves to situations we can't control. We become attached to outcomes, people, and circumstances that may not be serving our best interests. So how do we begin to emotionally detach in a way that respects ourselves, our growth, and our journey? We start by taking a long, honest look at what we're carrying with us. Many of us are lugging around emotional baggage, past hurts, unhealed wounds, the weight of old disappointments, and we don't even realize it. These emotional ties keep us bound to the past, hold us back from living fully in the present, and limit our vision of the future. The first step in emotionally detaching is acknowledging what we're holding on to. When we recognize what's weighing us down, we can begin to let it go. And letting go is not an act of giving up, it's an act of moving forward. We have to make peace with the things we cannot change, the relationships that didn't work out, the people who may have hurt us. And we do this not for them, but for ourselves. Emotional detachment is about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that you are not defined by what happened to you, nor are you limited by someone else's opinion of you. We must stop handing our emotional energy over to situations we cannot control. We cannot change the past. We cannot make someone else change. And we certainly cannot expect life to unfold in a perfectly predictable way. The only thing we have true power over is ourselves, how we respond, how we choose to feel, how we choose to live. Letting go of control doesn't mean letting go of responsibility. It means accepting that some things are beyond our influence and learning to live with grace and acceptance. When we try to control everything, we're putting an impossible weight on ourselves, and we set ourselves up for disappointment. Real power comes from learning to navigate the uncertainties of life with resilience and adaptability. You see, when you cling to something, a person, a situation, or even an idea of how life should be, you limit yourself. You become so focused on keeping things a certain way that you miss out on the opportunities right in front of you. But when you learn to detach, you create space for new experiences, for growth, and for unexpected blessings. Let's talk about relationships for a moment, because that's where many of us get tangled up emotionally. We often invest so much of ourselves in others, believing that our happiness, our worth, or our fulfillment is tied to them. But here's the truth: no one else can complete you. No one else is responsible for making you feel whole. That's an inside job. When we emotionally detach, we start to understand that our value comes from within. We learn to love ourselves first, not because we're selfish, but because it's the foundation of every other relationship in our lives. When we detach emotionally, we don't place unreasonable expectations on others. We stop expecting people to behave in ways that make us feel secure or validated. Instead, we begin to cherish people for who they are without clinging to what they can or cannot give us. This shift can transform the way we experience relationships. We start to see them as enriching additions to our lives, not lifelines we're dependent on. And what about success? Often we become so attached to our goals, our dreams, and our vision of success that we forget to appreciate the journey. Yes, it's important to set goals and strive for them, but we cannot become so fixated on the outcome that we lose sight of the process. Emotional detachment teaches us to work toward our dreams with passion and commitment, but without obsession. We give our best, but we're not devastated if things don't go exactly as planned. We learn to trust the timing of our lives. Let me say this: emotional detachment is a practice. It's not something you do once and then forget about. It's a daily choice. There will be times when it feels like you're slipping back into old habits, when the urge to hold on feels overpowering. But remember, growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a commitment to yourself. Because at the end of the day, emotional detachment is about honoring yourself, about respecting your energy, and about creating a life where you're free to be authentically, unapologetically. As you journey through this life, I encourage you to embrace the freedom that comes from letting go of what you cannot control. Realize that your peace, your happiness, and your fulfillment don't depend on anything or anyone outside of yourself. They come from within. They come from the choices you make every day to live in alignment with your truth, your values, and your dreams. In this process of emotional detachment, you'll begin to see the world differently. You'll start to notice beauty where you once saw only chaos. You'll begin to feel a deep, unshakable sense of peace even when life gets tough. You'll stop reacting to every little thing that doesn't go your way, and you'll learn to respond from a place of wisdom, not from a place of fear. The more you practice this, the more you'll notice a change in your relationships, your work, and even in the way you see yourself. You'll become more resilient, more compassionate, and more empowered to live a life that's true to you. And isn't that what we all want? To live a life that reflects who we really are, not who we think we should be or who others expect us to be. Emotional detachment is a gift you give yourself. It's the freedom to walk through life with an open heart, not weighed down by the expectations, judgments, or needs of others. It's about standing in your own light, owning your own power, and loving yourself so completely that you don't need validation from anyone else. So let's take a deep breath and commit to this journey of emotional detachment, not just today, but every day. Let's let go of what no longer serves us, embrace what we cannot change, and live with a sense of peace that comes from knowing we are enough. We are worthy, and we are capable of creating the life we deserve. Thank you.